All right. Sometimes I like to start these things with like a little brief cold opening and stuff like that because it's like a cold opening. It's good for like the
Yeah.
YouTube algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like because sometimes people be like people will often advise me like, hey, maybe clip like a snippet of like the episode before so people get a teaser. But I'd be like, there's so many good moments, and I don't know which one to choose
Yeah,
exactly.
I said that she too trying to find the right clips. So I said I should produce it, but just find something man. Like,
Now I just be like, I can just talk foolishness until I'm ready to start. And then people be like, okay, well, when you gonna get into the episode and I explain this to people? But that's what a cold opening is. But y'all know this interesting character.
all that?
I would say the legend. I mean, I've been following you for, I'd say, because I used to watch Who That when I was off to school just to keep updated with.
Wait, man, that just made me feel so good because
Yeah.
I have a friend. She was off to college and she said she knew what was happening in the Bahamas. So, of course, you know how you in this game, so you know it's be like you only getting like 5 likes. And
Yeah,
like,
no, but people be
so
watching.
You think no one's seen it.
Yeah. Like I was there when you actually interviewed Najee and you had the like.
We used to, but we used to stay within the park.
Yeah.
Bunch of dogs running around.
Yeah.
I feel like people used to sell selling coke maybe on the next. Like we used to in the ghetto. Like I was.
You say you was in Stabling.
Stapleton
I live
Park.
in Stabling.
Oh yeah, we used to stay in Park.
Okay. Yeah, that's when it was sort of they redid the courts instant. But yeah, without further ado, let's start the show.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to scare anybody.
The tourists come over to chill on the beach, but they don't come over the hill where we sleep. We got nightmares and they got fantasies. No sanity, it's just insanity. My mommy hoping nothing happens to me.
And this is where we like cut to the intro and do all that good stuff. So we back. You know who it is
Who that is? Ha.
who that is. Aha. So welcome to another episode of Erryting Kool. I'll introduce myself first. I'm Lord Jalen Willett, the Sage, Mr. Cool Fresh, all that good stuff. The servant to the people. And we have a special guest in studio today. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Timmayo.
Cinco de Timmayo.
Yes.
Oh, how you was
Cinco de Timmayo. You know?
okay,
Cinco
that gonna be
de-
the title.
Because no, Cinco de Mayo.
Okay, send me the spelling so I can put that as the title and all the graphics.
Yeah.
That's what we can dub this
Cinco
episode.
de Mayo. Hey,
And actually,
had plenty tequila.
I see that because they did a news story on you. Probably.
So I was the frogs.
I saw that.
So he did do it. I gotta check it.
No, I don't know if he put it. I don't think it was in the Friday report. Probably in the Sunday report.
Yeah,
or
so
something
I was
like
the frogs. I was about to leave. He's
Yeah.
like, shout out to Eugene, you know, volleyball player. He's like,
Yeah.
I got to go. But he called me, and so I went to frogs. I went to Hillside House. I went to
you was
Sunset.
hopping?
Yeah, man. You know, I gotta love yourself when you turn 31. You know.
I ain't gonna lie. I must admire your life. Like you live life to the fullest.
I try.
And like
try.
I don't know how you be doing it, but we gonna get into
I
it.
guess
But
that's what this is for. You know?
yeah. So
Give some secrets.
before we really get into the thick of things,
Mm-hmm.
we typically have a segment on the show called the Bahamian word phrase, the saying of the day, and we normally give that honor to.
I'm
our
gonna cut
guests.
you, but I gotta take this.
All right.
Hi, baby. How you doing?
The man on the job doing his job.
Daddy, what you showing me? No, who's here? What you say? All as well? All right. So, Daddy, working okay? You good?
Yeah.
Okay, I can pick you up in about 2 hours. Okay, we gotta drop Allison home. Then we go to the festival. Okay.
Okay.
I love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Can we keep all of that?
You show me, buddy. Okay. Thank you. Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
No, I would say we could keep all of that.
Yeah. I guess yeah, you want to? That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
You good?
Wait, no, I was just saying I like how I like to do things. I just is whatever
Yeah, wait,
flow.
no,
It's
yeah,
like
it's
it's a
fine. It was
part
in
of
top
it.
secret information.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
So, wait, what's
You just asked me your first question about
no Bahamian word phrase today. Actually, this actually is a special episode because this might covers a lot of things with the NBA, and this is the 75th episode.
vibes.
So, Bahamian word phrase is saying today. Something that we never heard and then you can explain it to our international audience.
I guess I got this. So this is a funny story, right? We spoke about going to frogs for my birthday.
Yeah.
And it was like bungie. I was like, wait, what? Bungie? You mean bungie? Like, he tried to explain bungie to the tourists. To tourists. I was like, wait, why are you pronouncing it that way? Like I was very upset. But the phrase, I mean, as I say, it's a lot, mother sick, and it's just an expression, you know. Expression.
We don't have that on my.
No?
But my might as well because I have a second part called with mother sick.
Mother sick. So
Drop.
this one have like 7 boards. I have to.
Man.
Me and my little 2 boards, you know. I got.
Oh man. But I mean, you have any other suggestions?
No man, because all I say is boy and mother sick. Like I feel like you're into it.
I can't remember if we had bungie.
Bungie. So I guess bungie was there behind your bottom, but it was just so funny they had a way. You know, he done drunk, trying to talk to tourists. I say, I had to go to this.
He's Bahamian or he's
a
American?
Bahamian, but I hate.
Okay, he have that fake American.
I hate doing that. I say, but it's bungie, not bungie. Bungie is the people who's make Halo. Like, come on now for our gamers. Like, don't say.
I'm not a gamer, so
No, not at all. Even though we sit in these good, comfortable gamer chairs.
That's Kristen. I just use the space. Everybody be around me, like even at work, bro, you don't play no game. I was like, but I ain't have no time.
My chair break, like I need one of these now, but they cost too much of in our summer.
Yeah, you 150 off Amazon.
Yeah, that's I'm sorry too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so bungie, you know, the thing you sit on, that's the favorite phrase. Bungie.
All right. There you have it from TIMMAY, Bungay. Simple like that. So let's get into it. So what's the origin story of Timothy D. Bain? That's D is the middle initial.
Darian.
Okay.
I mean, it's so much like when I graduated college, I graduated high school 2008. And
because I think we crossed paths when they started going to COB like 2010.
Yeah, I was there. So, and for those first 2 to 3 years, I did not know what I wanted to do with life. So I took CIS, Computer Information Systems, just because I saw it's techie, but it's cut my I could curse.
I mean, I could put a little SpongeBob.
It was cutting my ass for like 2008 to 20, for like 4 years, right? But at that time, you know, I was not doing the well in school. I still was for the basketball court, basketball. And so my first blog was Music Era with my cousin, Rhythm. So just like how this was during the blog era, and shout out to people who really understand the blog era. That's how we got the Kendrick Lamars and the Big Sean. So we were the Bahamian blogs. So we were posting like when Mark Mendel dropped and those type of stuff. So I did that for 2 years, Music Era. And then I started a basketball. I joined the basketball pod and / blog called Keep It Fresh. And we just and one summer, every time a playoff team got kicked out, I just did a article like where does like I say the Lakers get kicked out. I say where do the Lakers go next? Like I'd break down cap space, free agents, stuff like that. So that just got people to know that okay, Timmy knows the stuff, and he also is a blogger. 2013. This guy in New York and most of my blogging was like with American people.
Okay, so you already had that somewhat established connections.
Actually, majority like people not so really didn't care for me to like later on. It was I had like a big because of Twitter. Twitter was so I joined Twitter 2009. That was like the
same year as me. Yeah.
So Twitter was because I was in. So I have 3 things I really love: basketball, film, and music. So I use and also when I joined Twitter was when the Dark Knight Rises dropped. So like you know my name Dark Knight Rises, and you know my last name was Bane. So my Twitter handle was Bane BANE. So like and I also went for Bane that Halloween. So I was building my foothold in film Twitter, music Twitter, and basketball Twitter. So I have those. I was working those contacts from then. It didn't really come home to 2013 when I decided to make the switch to media journalism because at this point it wasn't a bachelor's yet in COB, it was still an associate. So
I know because they was trying to develop it, and I left to go to Atlanta like to get a bachelor's.
So it was an associate in mass comm. Remember me say she ain't paying for no associates. So I just was failing over there, and then when I finally get to media journalism bachelor's, I switched. And then that summer, sports radio hired me. They still owe me money. I worked there for a full year. What that allowed me was to use my already talking about the basketball court, blogging with Americans. I got to talk from 4 to 7 with Moses Johnson. Those who know Moses Johnson is currently the head coach of the Bahamas national team.
Yeah.
So me and Mo used to talk from 4 to 7, just talking. So we talk about local sports and NBA. And I did that for a year. But after 2 or 3 weeks, my boss was like, okay, go over the next fall and I want you to get some college people in here on Saturdays so that we can college talk 103. That's where Mick, Amo, Ashley, Hermes, Jamie, that's where we had college talk.
Okay.
And then after Jamie and Hermes left, we brought Leah. Leah now works to JCN.
Okay.
And y'all should know I'm most a sports guy for
Yeah, no,
CNS.
familiar with all those people.
Yeah.
When you say Jamie Pender?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So
we all let's go way back. And then I know Hermes from I was a child.
yeah, so it was for a full year. Meanwhile, so I doing journalism on COB. Monday through Friday at 4 o'clock, I doing the talking sports with the now coach of the national team. And Saturday mornings, he would, when little webcam was in there, we'd stream live to Twitter. So that happened.
Twitter had streaming at that point?
No, we they had a
You had the, I think it's Ustream or...
yeah, so whatever
Periscope or
whatever
whatever?
sports radio was using, there wasn't Periscope yet. That was
Okay.
around yet. Whatever sports radio was using, we'd take their YouTube link, it wasn't YouTube, whatever their webcam link was, and we put it on Twitter, and that
Okay.
would, and we invite people who were popular from Twitter
Okay.
on Cherry. So that kind of grew the audience, and by that April, Ashley was like, "Look, I have a camera, I need something to shoot. You should make a podcast." So that's when I made Who Dat. And my first guest was Adria, because she dropped her first EP that year.
Amaretto.
Yeah,
I love
she
that
dropped
album.
Amaretto.
She need to drop more music, man.
Facts,
I
facts.
really enjoyed that
So
project.
she was
yeah.
my first guest, and then Travis dropped Oh Lord 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks after that, which was we know the same birthday. My birthday's May 5th, birthday's May 6th. So he dropped Oh Lord, and he was my second guest. And then I just start. So I really saw Who Dat people who I know, people who
You
I
sure it wasn't started before that? Because I remember being in it. Because while all this going on, I'm sitting in Atlanta just watching it from afar, and I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing over there. Yeah.
College Talk.
Oh, okay.
But Who Dat was April 2014 when Adria dropped. She was my very first guest.
Okay.
And Travis dropped Oh Lord May 2014. At this point, I really just wanted to interview my friends who did music, right? And so I did like 10 of them, and I stopped. Then that Christmas, there was this seminar, I Create Music Seminar. And they brought like producers and stuff and all that, and they brought this guy named Focus. Focus is basically Dr. J's left hand.
Okay.
HD Boys won the competition, and all of HD Boys got to go visit.
Yeah, because I remember Cookie Caterer. What's his name?
Yes, Greg.
Greg told me, like,
that was his
he-
conference.
yeah.
Greg did that conference. That's when I met Greg, and,
Yeah.
and that's how. And my current cameraman Miguel. That's how we really got cool. So I knew her, but we sat next to each other, and all of the HD Boys got to go to LA, go on the radio. They got to sit in Dr. J's massive studio. Like he has speakers as big as this wall. Like they got to visit that studio, and then 2015 was when I dropped out of college because I was like, okay, my grades done bad enough then because I was failing, but I finally found my purpose. So I went to BTC as a social media intern.
So how you got that position? Because I don't want to just gloss over that transition because that's a decision where it's a make or break type of situation. So
Basically, that summer, CB basically emailed me and said, look, you've been failing for 4 years, but you kick your ass out.
okay, so it wasn't because how I saw it, it was like, but I ain't need school no more, but I ain't gonna go work.
But this is actually, I've never told anybody this, but this is the story now. So
Okay.
it was halfway.
An exclusive.
Yeah, it is. So it's halfway. CB said, look, but you've been failing, you know, you got to get your ass out there. But that year of doing Who Dat, making I got back to Three Amigos, making Who Dat, Three Amigos, and College Talk, what I could learn in the next 2 to 3 years, I don't know. So a month after Who Dat, we decided College Talk, we don't need the radio show anymore. We made Three Amigos Media. We were all learning journalism in school, learn photo, video, whatever. Made Three Amigos. At first, Three Amigos was supposed to be a management firm for, like I said, the friends who has Who Dat. I mean, it was a fun summer, you know. Crowds was going, oh Lord, at the parties and stuff, you know. But at the point, it was like, okay, that ain't really, music management ain't make us no real money. And so we pivoted to photo, video.
Like a media production service.
Right. And then, like I say, Christmas 2014 comes and say, look, even though I finally did well in journalism, the hill of bad grades is too high. I said, look, mommy, I want to drop out. So I figured now I'll just go work to a radio station and make money on the side. I went to Peace and Money for a couple places, but no one was really hiring. BTC had a little intern thing that was going on. I was able to get there, and luckily for me, they were in a position where a live was about to come, so they were just sponsoring everything. So every single cultural or sporting event, BTC was sponsoring. And what did the intern job was? I had to go take pictures, do interviews, of course. And to your mind, you saying at every carnival, John Canoe, Pop Count, or these concerts, who you see there? Timmy. So that happened at the same time I was doing. So I was doing who that on the weekends. I was just doing BTC every day. So of course it looked like the same thing. It looked like TIMMAY.
You was involving your brand.
Yeah, and I'm always thankful that everywhere I worked allowed me to be me. And sometimes people don't think I sub 9 to 5. They just think that TIMMAY is working for these people. No, I used to be working 9 to 5 for these people. I was able to balance the two.
Yeah, because I remember I heard through, I ain't gonna say who told me this, but they was like, one time they was working with you and you had people that you was working for, they was like, they would watch your page to see if you only just doing your work or, you doing a company work, and it's like, it ain't really that serious.
Yeah, but that's sadly, that is the case, because they feel like they paying you a certain salary and benefits but you don't own me. You might own me between the hours of 9 to 5, sometimes after, but you don't own my content outside of work. Yeah. Well, and of course, there's always that balance of, it's being the interviews, they be like, hey, so if we hire you, how much of your time are you? I
get that a lot now, because then people be like, well, we see you doing all this stuff, and it's like,
your work getting done, right?
Yeah, it's like, don't worry about that. Like,
is it work being done? Don't ask me about my time, please.
Yeah, so I completely understand it. So transitioning, so how long you was at, because you along the way know BTC and Burns House was around this
was
period?
A year and a half.
Okay.
And then I went to Burns House for 8 months. And so the peak of BTC was, they sent me the Buddy Hill draft. I got to interview Buddy Hill, cover his whole draft journey. I went to Burns House like 2 to 3 weeks later. Was to collect for like 8 months. When I left collect, I worked on my daughter was about to be born, and that was the peak of when this government was in last time, and it was the last year government was involved in Carnival. All the artists was going to all the islands, so all like Bodine, Dyson, Rick, MDs, all of them was paying for me to cover them at concerts. So, and I also was helping run the page for the actual Carnival. So it's a good time.
Okay, so you was a freelancer at this point.
I left like March 2017.
Okay.
And that was the Carnival is May. So that from March to May is really prime Carnival time. So all the artists who's performing and the actual Carnival itself, and my current band now, Masqueraders, also hired me then. So literally I was working for the biggest band, still the biggest band, Masqueraders. I was working for the actual Carnival, who was promoting the event. I was working for all the big artists that actually had all the big Bahamian artists. So that 2 months was.
All right, so let's pause right there, because we got to break this down. So you say you was expecting a daughter at this time.
Yeah.
So talk to me about the pressures of being a mind, expecting a new life in this world, and how you have to mentally prepare for that. Plus you're trying to climb, I guess, the corporate ladder and establish yourself career-wise. Plus, on top of that, what people might not be missing is you doing a lot of networking and building on opportunity. So break all that down.
So the only pressure at that point before the child is born is money. It literally is just money. Whatever my time is dedicated to, I have to make money. So at that point, like I said, I left Collect, not on the best terms, but so it was more of a fair, like, but you about to quit your job and your child in here. But it was the day I put in my quitting, I got Bahamas Masqueraders and Carnival the day of. Okay. And they were not expected. BTC recommended me for Masqueraders. And then a friend of mine who's doing the Carnival, she recommended me. So literally, I said leaving this place today. That day, I got 2 separate calls. It's like, how you even know I needed this? That was crazy to me.
Divine intervention. Remember?
Yeah, that's literally the day of. Like, it wasn't even like I didn't have to wait 24 hours. The day of. So, and I still a Masquerade. I'm leaving here to go to Masquerades now. This is 5 years ago.
You sure?
That was 27. My child is 5. Is 5.
But I feel so.
This is literally 5 years ago. I still work with Masquerades. I'm literally going here after I'm going there next. Yeah. And I only got the job because that day BTC decided to sponsor 5 groups. The marketing person of the BTC say, hey, they called BTC said, Master said, look, I need a social media manager. BTC gave them my number. Say, hey, you come recommend it. Come to the camp. That's a job I still love.
Yeah.
And I always so Bodine was the first artist I ever worked for. And working with Bodine, then Dyson when he say, oh, I want that. Then Julian say, oh, I want that. Then Ricky say, oh, I want that. And then so that's how that happened. And then of course government changed. After them came in, and after them just say, that dead.
Yeah. But the different regimes.
Yeah.
One is a little bit freer with spending, and one is like a tighter budget.
They say all that you was doing for the last 3 months, that dead. So I used to be in a different island every week.
Yeah.
With the Regatta, gone. So then I went to work for Atos for a short time. And I would probably say the Atos, but then the monster came.
What monster?
The big monster on opposite the lake.
Oh, Fusion.
So
let's talk about that.
So
because you known as a public figure, like, wait, Tim, how much job? Like you, they're almost the trouble of the Jamaican father, but you got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 jobs. So how people used to be getting these jobs, and do the employers look at it like, wait, this way don't stay one place?
They
like
ask that, but it's always an explanation.
Yeah.
So like I said, I don't know. I love movies. I said earlier I love movies. So I applied to Fusion just to apply there, and I got the call. It's like, oh, we know you is. I said, yes, you have to put yourself out there. So my work speaks for yourself. So I out there. You know what I do. He called me. I did an interview. Job was mine. I was one of the first 3 employees. I took it and we was in a room like this big before the building finished. Then I got they got pro the marketing manager, but of course, and the other monster came with Sillet, the dirty virus.
Yeah.
The dirty virus came, and as you can see, movie theaters are still struggling. But
I think that being in the film industry for a long time, because of digital streaming, it's been on an incline,
so with the streaming on top of the virus, is killing it. So I would never left if it wasn't for COVID. So everything since COVID has just been trying to find a home. So I went to Live, I went to RF, I went to RX, and this, I climbed the salary ladder and the title ladder, but certain things just didn't fit as well as I wanted them to.
And that's what I was trying to tell my mom the other day. She was like, well, y'all generation, y'all quit a job over there. It's like, but that's the only way you get increase in pay.
That too, and also I am going to be unhappy.
And I told her,
and not to say every job I leave I'm unhappy.
Yeah.
But it's more so I leave for more money. Like at the end of the day, I have to maximize my worth, because at some point, I was with TIMMAY, but it might be in the generations thing. There could be someone who under me, who of a degree, who have better skills than me, who would be more attractive than me. So I have to find, I can't get comfortable with the salary when I know my peers making more. So I always look at, okay, this is what I have things I like to do. I like to go every year. I go to at least one basketball game. I go to a carnival. I go to a concert. I like to watch movies at least twice a month. Like, I know what I need to make to live a life, and I'm not gonna just.
And now you have a whole wife and child.
You're right, and so. I'm not going to cut myself short because of happiness of the job. So I always have a number in my mind where I gotta go. Yeah,
because I always break this down to a lot of the older generation, some other peers, where they be like, "Man, you just can't quit a job," but it's like.
We've been in the job for 35 years. So that's great.
That's awesome. I was saying, it's like our generation prefer happiness over monetary gain. Yeah. Like, if I ain't happy, I don't feel like doing this. Yeah. And now that may be detrimental to some people.
They call us soft. I mean, call it soft, but I'd rather be happy and making money. Miserable and making money. Because life, when you live to live, you gotta, why am I, hurting myself to pay bills? When there's clearly an option for you to do too. Now, I'm saying, at every small inconvenience, go leave your job. No, like me, like I said, I know I could get a job offer.
Just who you were?
Yeah. And I put in the work. I say I've been doing this. Been 7 years. I've been doing social media full time. 7 years as in corporate, but I've been just TIMMAY for like 14 years. So like I put him, and now so only so big. Yeah.
And I think after a time, when I had to realize this with myself, it's like when you then put 5 to 7 years in industry. You ready? And nobody could take that away from you. So it's like, it is what it is at this point.
They literally cannot.
Yeah,
they could say what they want to say about you. You could make one mistake, 2 mistakes, but you cannot stop being you.
Yeah, you can't just wash away past work. That's already set in stone. Like,
that exists.
So
and then there's people is like, NASA's only who you know. Duh.
Yeah, that's everywhere though.
Duh. But you should look at it at a different point of view. NASA is small.
And you could control
imagine
it.
if you go down,
The
the smallest state has 5 times as much people as us. So you know how hard it is to go away and know people? That's hard.
Especially if you wasn't born there and
That's
you couldn't, you have no one to grow
That
up
is
around.
so difficult. Like, and it's much easier to be a big fish in a small pond than being a small fish in the fleck of the ocean, because that fish could drown or get eaten. A small fish will drown or get eaten in a big ocean, whereas in a big
You sort of could control it. But I often always have these conversations, right? Because I don't feel like you have to be made of a certain mindset to see it like that. Because most people just want you to put something in their hand versus you work in the market and galvanizing and bending it to you.
You get opportunity.
Yeah, and it's like now I can pick up the phone and be like, all them people names you call, I know them. Or interacted with them and they just a phone call away.
Yeah.
You know, most of
like a DM or
Yeah.
You know if you go to a certain event they could be there.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, and you start to realize a lot of like-minded people like to go to the same places, so you in the same spaces, and that's how you get to know things.
I always tell people if you're worried about not knowing enough people, get to know people.
Go out.
You're not gonna network by sitting on your couch and typing on Twitter. I mean that helps, but carry you can't gotta say carry your bungie.
Your bungie.
You know? And go. It's so much different spaces of different type of people. You have the bougie, you have the artsy, you have the regular. Just go around people.
Of course, and actually, my dad had to tell me this because moving back home 2017. Obviously, well, you never went off to school, so you ain't know the whole coming back home depression thing.
But all my friends did. Like I was the one who said, so I've heard it enough times.
Yeah, so it's the whole depression for the first year because you had this big dream, and then now it's like,
and also you had all that freedom over there.
Yeah,
you
and
have the American way of life. You could press a button. You know,
and then
the first world experience.
Yeah, and then you come back to these constraints, and it's hard to. You gotta catch yourself to adapt. So I remember I was home one time and my dad was like, "Bro, how you gonna grow your business if you always home? You gotta go out. You gotta go meet people. You gotta go network." And that's what I started doing, and it started working. And it ain't nothing. I don't feel like the Bahamas or any third world country is a place where someone gonna give it to you. You have to
take it, right?
Put it in work, and then you have to go shake certain hands, and people might say, "Oh, well, that's sucking up to people or whatever." But it's like you would have to do this anywhere, bro.
Really what you make it, and if you have that stupid mindset, then you just can make it. Like and that's what I tell people: if you have the same mindset here, you're gonna fail away too.
Of course, because it's more competitive, more people like you.
First of all, you black. You're from an island. You ain't from here. You don't have 3 things against you before you even open your mouth. Over here, the competition, for instance, I know the competition for a social media job at Nassau is about 5 people. For social media manager, for what salary wise, position wise, I don't know, so we probably need 5 people. If I ever see a job, I say, okay, I know A, B, C, and D would be on my level for this.
Okay.
Whereas if this is the States, there's 50 states, thousands.
Yeah.
So just of that, 1 in 5 is better than 1 in a million. That's just simple math.
Yeah. So how do you feel? Because I had this conversation with someone, right? There's a lot of people that say they're like marketing gurus and things like that. And I was like, yeah, they're great at assembling a brand DNA and having reachable goals, but there ain't too many people have like creative genius. To where it's like they coming up with a brand new idea and things like that. And me working at an advertising agency for such a long time, I can see, okay, people just rehashing things. So how do you somewhat separate yourself from the market in that regard?
Because I don't try talk about what I don't know. So when it comes to personally, my personal brand, I know I care about basketball, music, art, film, culture. Like, that's what I like. That's the stuff I go to. Outside of someone paying me to go to an event, I go to an art show, I go to a basketball game. So these are things I am immersed in. Even my own personal social media, I don't follow nothing outside of that. So I'm even the content I consume subliminally, it could only be basketball, music, art, and film, or people in that's all who I follow. I don't ever try to talk about stuff I don't know, because that don't make no sense. So and I always, this my advice is, people always says talk about what you know, because authenticity. No, I tie down. Being authentic is what you are. But you are. No one can replace you. I could go there and try do what you do, but I don't have you. Like I love anime. But you have a different audience thing. I can't go there and start cosplaying and thing. So they like, tell me, are you trying something? Like, we know you like it, but there's something new, you know.
But I don't mean you to stop you to like.
Right, but then, but where it gets dicey is, what if Comic-Con try to come, right? And I only do that cosplay to try get a bag over you. That's where it gets dicey. Don't people just try to.
I understand that.
People just try to own every single lane.
But you can't.
You know, and you cannot try to. And if you spread yourself too thin, something is going to suffer.
Yeah, of course.
And so even though, like I say, even though my interests are vast, that's why I have a brand partnership now with Rev, because they are the home of sports. I love sports.
Let's talk about that right quick.
Go ahead.
So I would consider you being a Bahamian tastemaker, and how. I guess through brand equity, you build these relationships with these corporate sponsors, whether it be, your partnership with Coors or whether it be with Rev or Alive. So how, for anybody who's seeking to do situations like that, because we live in the social content game and everybody's trying to figure out how to monetize their brand, what advice you would give someone?
Close don't get fed.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't know if it's an unfair advantage, but all of these companies I have brand partnerships with, I used to work for or work with. And so and this is maybe my advantage. I work both sides. I work social media management and social media influencing. I know what the company looks for in an influencer. So because I know what they're looking for, literally I say, and I think I'm joking. I went to Kai Jones draft. I literally go on to them and say, look, I go into the draft. This is how much it costs. If you want my logo, if you want your logo on my video, this is what I need taken care of. I can do that. Because I've been in this game 7 years. My numbers speak for themselves. They know what they're doing. If a random person come and say, I go into A, B, and C, the brand's gonna ask you, well, who you is? Why should I give you this money? Why should I? How much impact is your video going to take, and how much the cost is? My skin in the game, eliminate all that. No one asks me who I is.
So it's because of the proof of the work.
It's proof of the work. I mean,
and proof of concept.
NASA is only so big. There's only so many big companies. I've worked with or for every big company in this country except numbers.
Except who?
Numbers. I haven't touched any numbers.
Okay.
Telecommunications.
Hotel too?
Food, I work with the hotels through the basketball tournaments.
Okay. So like Battlefield Atlantis and
Bahamas Bowl and all that.
Yeah, okay.
So telecoms, alcohol, food and beverage. I don't work with every single except numbers. So you can't. I've reached a point where I literally just tell them. I don't ask. I go into the game because regardless, I go in. I was going to Kai Jones draft with or without sponsorship.
So every time you go is like I was going to go anyway.
That's what it is. I am going.
Okay.
I, Timothy Bain, I'm going to this game. Now, I am rich. I also have responsibilities and people to take care of. So I said, look, make it. And it's also mutually beneficial. So I try to make my trips free. So I need this for your logo to be, and of course they and it also works out because I get to not spend my money, and they get to have their, and also I mean, and it's not a swing. I know the brand principles of each of these brands, and what I do most likely always falls in the brand principles. Like I say, I care. My whole thing is promoting and cultivating Bahamian culture. Most big companies, that's in their social responsibility. So I go in a basketball game. Hennessy is the spirit of the NBA. Coors Light was, up until last year, the bear of the NBA, Sound Michelob. Alive cares about Bahamian culture. Rev is home of sports. So that's why I got to afford them to chip in for my NBA draft log. So I end up going from having to spend a lot of money to spending $0. Hennessy, I went to Hennessy, right, to watch Kai game in Miami. Hennessy paid for, they covered this and that for me, my cameraman. So the thing I paid for was my food and thing. And that's where so people are like, oh, well, you were making a profit. Fair, but I also ain't going in debt.
That's true, and you have an experience.
And it's not like, and people understand, like, we are different. These are things I do. I grew up a certain way. My parents used to go away 3 times a year. Before 9/11, we used to go away 4 times a year. 4 times. So I used to go away for Easter, Christmas, family vacation. after COVID, after
9/11,
9/11,
2001.
we go on away twice a year. We'd go summer and either Easter or my parents' anniversary around Thanksgiving. Now post COVID, I back on my end soon. Let me live my life. I've always been someone who liked the experience. My parents raised me on experiences, so that's always something I didn't try to pass to my daughter. So I know I want to experience stuff, and I leverage TIMMAY to get brands. And I mean, it's mutually beneficial. Who else they could send to go to a basketball game? Who else?
I think you're the only option when it comes
It's only me and
to.
Tennessee Seniors who have a relationship with the NBA. It's only me or them.
Yeah.
And they
And you used to work at some capacity with them
right,
at one
exactly, for like a
point.
year and a half before I just did my own thing.
Okay.
So I know my value. I bring a one thing with no one else have. Because even if someone might be better, because I mean, of course, there's someone who could instead of being able to pay for a cameraman, they could be their own cameraman. But you don't have a relationship with the NBA. If you email the NBA right now, they could be like, "Who you is? What have you done me for?" My name in the NBA system, Timothy Bain, is in the that is blow my fucking mind. Like my name, like the NBA see my name and like so that's what I have. That's how I'm able to get my.
So how do you? Before I get to my other questions, but how do you sometimes sit back in your quiet moments and you saying like, I don't even know how I did all of this,
Yes.
so I never thought I would
Yes.
get this far.
Yes, and people bring it up. I mean, I've lived every dream that I didn't know I had by 30. I was 31 on Thursday. Every dream I thought was like unattainable that on the island boy I couldn't get. I didn't do it, so that's why life feels like whatever right now. I didn't.
You
do
were on adventure
I
mode.
I didn't do the things. I didn't even dream. I like let's just say 8 is what I planned for. With 10 being the impossible. I didn't do the impossible. The only thing I haven't done yet that I want to do is cover an Olympics, which I work on now.
Okay. You got. They
Two more
still
years.
trying to go 2024? Okay.
In Paris. So right now I have multiple angles I work in. I don't know if it could be the Bahamas Federation, if it could be through one of the telecommunications. But I got to go. I got to get to the Olympics.
Wow.
And 2028 is LA.
Yeah.
So
Because I know they had a US date coming up within the
28.
Okay.
So 24 is Paris and 28 is LA. I have a friend who live in LA. Ooh, so I hear now. That's
Work
that's
that
my next like
play. Yeah,
thing,
you know. So, how do you balance all of this with being a father and a husband?
Just
Because it's like,
everything's a plan.
because like, I ain't got no kids, I ain't married, and I always just be like, I want to do a lot of the heavy lifting before I really settle down with my life, so I don't have to bother with that. But I think heavy lifting is sort of subjective because it's always
so you have to balance time and then time in person. A lot of what I do now doesn't, like for instance, my podcast takes an hour, so I probably do that in the evening randomly. I really on the weekends I don't have nothing to do.
Oh wow!
I'm basically I mean it wasn't always like that. Before my daughter was born, I used to shoot that on Saturdays, and it used to take longer to do because we had to go to a spot. My camera had to do a setup like this, and so I didn't have a space. Like I used to go by the fort and do this, and then of course it's hot in my brain.
Yeah.
But one thing I thank COVID for is that the content creators and the content consumers became okay with Zoom camera and mic. Like within myself, I thought every vlog had to look like this.
Yeah.
But it got to the point where worldwide, everyone doing podcasts, like the Miami.
You already do a podcast off your phone.
The Miami Heat network that I work, the Miami Sports network that I work with in Miami, who get like hundreds of views, they do their podcasts on Zoom.
Yeah.
Not even with the mic, they do it on Zoom and they get thousands of
Yeah,
views.
even with the Ringer and a couple of other
No,
things.
and Zach Lowe, they using Zoom.
Yeah.
So that put it in my mind where, you know what? I wasting time and money and effort
Trying to be the best.
to have crispy, clean content. Because at the end of the day, the consumers don't care.
Once it's good content, like,
So-
they're like,
So so like with them, I do a 45-minute pod through StreamYard. That's once a week, and I do Who Dat for an hour. That in person, that's once a week, and that's my obligations outside of my 9 to 5.
wow.
So that's what you have to cut it down to where it makes sense. Like sense as in CENTS. Like if I given 2 or 3 hours of my physical time elsewhere, the money have to be good enough that it takes care of the absence of my time. Because people always ask you, even in interviews, well, you look so much things going on. But that's an hour and 40. Let's just say my free time outside of work is like 15 hours. An hour and a half. That's it. That's how much of goes to my side content. It might seem like more, but it's not really got that.
Wow, that's a lot. So what's next that you have on the list before we close out?
So like I said, I work with this Miami network now.
So was that relationship like established from years ago? They approached you recently.
So Fire Reason Sports is owned by Ethan Skolnick.
Okay.
Ethan Skolnick has been covering Miami sports in general since '96. So to put it in Bahamian context, imagine, let's just say I worked to ZNS, Rev, Guardian, Eyewitness, and Tribune, and decided, you know what, let me go work for 10th year seniors and make my own podcast. That's what he did as a white man in Miami. He didn't work for all the news stations. He didn't work for ESPN. He didn't work for Bleacher Report. And he got his roots so deep in Miami that he made his own network. Now, as a Miami Heat fan, I've been following them for 2 years. Their content really peaked in the bubble. They got really good Miami Heat content during the bubble. So I used to listen to their podcast all the time. A friend of mine, Brian, he lives in New York. He's like a me of New York.
Okay.
He's a bit younger. He's Puerto Rican. He has his hands everywhere. And we used to just talk in DMs all the time. We both liked 5 Reasons Sports. Last August, while I was on July, because I was on vacation, we said, you know what? We should turn our DM chats into a pod and let's ask 5 Reasons Sports if they'd have us. And we sent the pitch. He was nervous for like 3 weeks. He said, let's have a call about it. He had the call. He said, I really don't have to talk about it. I just want to tell y'all could do it. So he was like nervous, like how we gonna sell the pitch. I said, the pitch is fine. I follow both of y'all. And this goes back to me saying, from 2009, I've been interacting with people like Mark Spears, who works with you Undefeated. So I have relationships with American credentialed sports writers. And what gave me validity is that when they would come down to Battlefield Atlantis, I sit next, they ain't like I'm a fan in the stands. I sit next to them in the media room. I sit next to them in the media row. So in their eyes, I am a
Credential news reporter.
You know, but I think the biggest clue was that when BTC sent me to go cover Buddy, I kept in contact with the guy who was in charge of communications for Latin America.
Okay.
And when I came out for Ayton, I messaged him. He's like, yeah, I remember you. He left the NBA. He now works for the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
But I paid for LinkedIn Premium. And I messaged, because it's number change. Because now the NBA go, your number and your email is associated to that job. So I was like freaking saying, I have no way to contact this boy. I can't get the Kai draft. I go on LinkedIn Premium and message him. He gave me the contact of his replacement. And he introduced us. And that replacement knows me. And that's how I was able to tick off this year. This year I did 3 credentialed NBA this season. From October to March, I did 3 credentialed NBA games. First time in my life. There's a big difference between being a credentialed draft person and being a credentialed. So how it works is that once you get accepted into the system, which is a long process, you pick a game. And whenever game you pick, they got to ask you why, and then you have to wait till 5 days before the game. So that's why I'll always get credentialed for Bahamian. And we have 3 Bahamians in the NBA. So for the next 10 years, at least I'll be able to do that.
Yeah. Or, whoever comes up, because we didn't know who in the farm system.
But the answer question was next. I've never been to a Miami Heat playoff game. I went to Orlando game on my honeymoon. But so I'm monitoring to see how far the Heat go. I would like for it to be basketball worlds, the Suns and the Heat. Because I'd be Ayton, a Bahamian, against Heat. So I'm just monitoring how far the Heat go, so I could go to an NBA game. And then my relationship with Rev, I'll do a partnership with Rev and cover that game.
Yeah, because Rev was in Arizona.
So what they did was they whilst they pushing Rev Trio, because with Trio you get free league pass, you get other perks. They did a giveaway and they sent Super Mario to do 2 games. It was the Suns versus the Raptors. And I can't remember who else the Suns played. But they like all access, like behind the scenes stuff. They got to meet Ayton. They got to sit like courtside, almost courtside.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, other than that, the rest of the year is just, I'm happy that we open. So
and Carnival
is May 21st.
Yeah.
Because Carnival is May 21st. I'm hosting the Cancer Society Ball for the 4th year in a row, social media red carpet.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to go to a finals game. And then my favorite rapper, and this is how I know Kendrick Lamar, he must hate us. The last time Kendrick Lamar dropped the album, my daughter wasn't even born yet. Now my daughter's turning 5. So he been gone for 5 years.
Yeah.
So the album drops, I know this drops. So the album drops next Friday, which is May 13th. I'm waiting to see when he goes on tour. because I was looking at going to Rolling Loud, but I'm like, I really don't want to see all these people. I want to see Kendrick. So I really want to go catch Kendrick.
His tour probably, because he dropped, I think May 13th, so the tour probably announced probably like a month later.
Which means and then I went to Dam Tour, and I still remember that Dam Tour was actually my first tour ever.
Okay.
I mean, my first concert outside of Nassau.
Yeah.
So I really want to do that. Like I said, Dam was amazing. Like I like how he had he did. You find Kendrick?
Yeah, of course. Like I've been listening to Kendrick from the heart.
So for Dam, right, with Kung Fu Kenny, he actually shot content where he has actual scenes of Kung Fu Kenny, and this was ever released because it was only for the concert.
Oh,
so he goes, he treats his
he's a mad performer and vivid
so
visuals.
I can't even imagine with this, and he been gone for 5 years.
Was this supposed to be a double disc? Because Morale and Stepper is 2 discs.
And this is his last album with TD. Yeah. So I'm thinking, I think TD may go on tour because
was they planning on a TD album?
Because Absol dropped a single last week. So Schoolboy Q dropped a single 2 weeks ago. Yeah. SZA might drop something. I'm like, why is all TD suddenly having music?
Yeah, and then Isaiah Rashad just performed at Coachella.
And that's the album I listened to all last year. So like something else. But this is Kendrick's last album for TD. So my thing is that I think all TD may go on tour. And I might just burst into theirs because like I've been listening to all of them for 2010. Yeah. So that's really so this year I didn't do the hard work like brand wise already. I didn't been to 2 games for the year. Like the rest of the year is supposed to be just me enjoying. Enjoying. Yeah.
Well, there you have it. The magic to the myth, the legend, and all these other beautiful adjectives, I guess, would describe it.
There's something.
But thank you again for joining us on Erryting Kool. I just trying to expand the minds, introduce the people to new people who I run into every other day. And thanks again, Timmy, for joining us.
Thanks for asking.
We can see y'all later. Yeah, see you.